I believe his exact quote was, "I love my mom, I love my sister, I love my family, I love my girlfriend, but there's nothing they could ever give me that would be as special as this."
It's an insane quote, honestly. Why would you say
That
that?
it's crazy glazing, but you know what?
No, it's ethical glazing.
Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk.
And
Hockey.
hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 104 of Stick Talk Hockey. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours, Trilly.
Over there, we got our producer.
Producer Jay.
And Alexander Ovechkin is the all-time leading goal scorer.
What a special episode we have.
What a special day, a special episode. It literally happened moments ago. We had quite the week for us here at Stick Talk.
Yeah, a lot of schedule changes, a lot of bouncing around. We were originally supposed to record the pod yesterday or Friday.
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, Friday, sorry. And then we kind of sat there and went, well, if we do this now,
Yeah.
is the Stick Talk curse going to remain unbroken? And it
was
would
not.
have. It
Yeah.
definitely would have,
Yeah.
because here we are 2 days later.
We knew it. Like, we're going to get on this show and talk about Ovi tying the record, and then by the time it comes out, he's broken it? Of course not.
That sounds terrible. Way to outdate yourself before it even drops. Like,
So we rescheduled for today, knowing that the grade 8 was going to break that record against the goalie he's never scored against, Ilya Sorokin.
what a storybook finish. Like, you
Yeah.
can't come up with something better against his own countrymen, a
Yep.
goalie he's never scored against,
Yep.
and a beautiful goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not anything that is just a kiss in, a tap in, a bang in. He gets the pass in stride, way behind his
Yeah,
body,
way behind him.
hauls it in, and still has the all-star release.
Yep.
Inside corner.
Yep.
And what a sound when that puck went in, too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
is that not one of the best sounds in hockey besides, like, the post and in? Just that hard
Absolutely.
donk.
Absolutely. And then the belly flop Selly.
I guarantee you that's going to be the cover of EA 26.
Yeah, for sure. That is the Chell cover next year. It started on Friday. Friday was such a special night, even when he tied the record, at home, 2-goal night, kids in the building, the great ones in the building. You see Wayno just smashed after the game doing that post-game interview?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Was he taking in the libations?
Oh, yeah. Wine Gretzky, they're calling him.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
I was really, really, really hoping he'd break it on Friday.
Bueno, more like wino.
Exactly. But you know what? What a moment. I thought it was hilarious that they did the whole celebration, like, at the moment.
Yeah, just stop the game.
Like, I expected them to kind of, I expected it to be kind of like the Friday moment where, like, yeah, the whole team comes out, they shake his hand, everything. But, like, once they started rolling out the red carpet and, like, Bettman comes down onto the ice with the painting and everything, and I was like, this feels like this should be done
After?
like before the next home game, honestly.
Yeah, actually. That makes a lot more sense. Or after the game if you want to do something for both. You could do both.
Yeah, absolutely you could. But and I'm sure they will do something on Thursday when they play their next home game. But
They're raising a banner.
yeah, probably.
They're going to raise a banner.
Yeah.
When they retire his jersey, they will do like one with his number and then one with his goals record.
One that says 895.
Yeah.
But
Or
like I
whatever
just
he
thought
finishes at.
I just thought it was hilarious. Like, you got all these people on the ice, like the kids are down there and stuff, and I was like, they're just gonna drop a puck after this? Like,
We still have to
we
play,
have
guys.
half a game here still.
The goalie's getting cold. The
Yeah,
guy just got scored on. Cut him a break.
No. Spectacular moment. Like, one of those just thought to be unbreakable records. And yeah, I can't believe we all got to witness it. Phenomenal.
Special moment. Jay, how did you feel watching that?
I honestly kind of had chills. Like, the segment, like, I mean, leading up to it, I said this just before the pod started, like, I almost missed it because I was about to take a shower.
Yeah.
But I saw they were going on the power play, so I was like, I'll give it a few more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I texted you, power play time. Is this it?
Yep.
And then like 20 seconds later,
Boom. Yeah.
it was pretty surreal.
It really was. It felt like a moment. I had it spoiled for me, like a touch. I didn't actually, but I didn't read your text.
Mm.
But I started my stream was like just a few seconds behind, and I started getting the text, the voot, 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 and I was like, oh, is it about to happen? So I watched the whole play kind of happen, and really special.
That happened with me yesterday, so I just left my phone face down, like on the
Yeah.
other side of the room. I had it like on a pillow, so I couldn't hear it vibrate either.
I do that so often because I can't trust these Sportsnet streams for anything.
No, and I mean, like, we got another 7 years of it or something, 12 years,
Yeah,
signed
12-year deal.
$8 billion deal.
$8 billion deal with Rogers that got signed. Yeah.
What a joke. And same, because unfortunately the goal that tied it was also spoiled for me.
Oh, yeah.
I got your text in all caps, Ovi,
Yeah.
5 seconds before it happened.
Wow.
And I like looked and was like, huh. And then I looked up and was like, oh,
yeah.
there it is. So I saw the pass coming across the ice
Yeah.
right after the Ovi text, and I was like,
Yeah. I mean, what else can you say? Yeah, truly special though. And to do it in, he ties Gretzky in one fewer game.
ends the debate. There's no way the old heads can be like, well, he did it sooner. Yeah.
No.
No.
Greatest goal scorer of all time. Greatest
and he
goal scorer
broke
of all time. Yeah. And to do it in this era as well, I mean, just something truly spectacular. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, we're hating on Gretzky a lot these days. I'm not currently wearing my Gretzky shirt. I probably should have for this pod.
Yeah, give him a break. He's lost a lot today.
Tough 2025 for Wayno. That was getting thrown around in the group chat today. Someone said, who's had a worse 2025 than Wayne Gretzky? I said, well, my great aunt died, so maybe her. And they were like, yeah, nah, that's still not as bad.
Didn't have her scoring record broken.
Honestly, valid. I got nothing to say to that. Yeah, true that.
What else does he have left?
Yeah, exactly. No, just a special day from a special player. And
I haven't sellied that hard. Like, I didn't think I was that into it.
yeah.
I haven't sellied that hard since Henrique scored the overtime
Oh,
goal.
wow. What, McDavid? Last month? No. That McDavid goal is the hardest of Selly to goal since Crosby's golden goal.
No.
Or actually the Burrows game 2 overtime winner of the Stanley Cup final.
Fair. Actually, yeah, McDavid is very close, but I
Yeah.
feel like that one, it's like a one-off tournament that, like, eventually will just be another tournament in history. This is
Sure.
like one of those where were you
Yeah.
win moments forever.
100%.
But,
spectacular stuff.
Canada and the USA will meet 30 more times and have 30 more where were you win moments.
They'll
but
probably meet again in 10 months.
but you're never going to see Ovechkin break the scoring record again. That's incredible stuff.
It's true.
How
very
lucky.
true. How lucky indeed. And I mean, we just did, basically half an episode where we talked about how special it's been watching these two players through their careers, Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. And Crosby's still doing it as well. Currently has the longest active point streak in the NHL right now.
And a hat trick yesterday
And
to
a
boot.
hat trick yesterday to boot. Unbelievable.
100%. I know that ex-producer Austin is probably just tickled pink by that. Traded for Crosby at the deadline in one of our fantasy leagues and is currently like 60 points up on the next best team.
And I bet you, current producer, how you feeling about that?
It had me geeking
Did it?
at work.
Yeah,
I checked my phone, and they shockingly beat the Stars.
they did.
Maybe not that shockingly. Casey DeSmith in net. He's prone to performances like that for sure.
Wow. So, Jay, we got to talk about Casey DeSmith, okay?
All right.
So per Kipper and Bourne this week, they had the Dallas fellow on there. I can't recall his name right now, but they're saying that Dallas is actually like having a real conversation about who their day one starter is. Is it Casey DeSmith or is it Jake Ottinger
Yeah, like that's wild to me.
for the playoffs? Now, do you know who leads the NHL in adjusted save percentage the entire season of anyone over 400 chances?
It would look to be Casey DeSmith.
It's Casey DeSmith.
Ain't that a stat?
It's Casey DeSmith.
Yeah, no, like on some like hate aside,
Mm.
he has been very good this year. Now they wildin'. Ottinger should be the day one starter.
Agreed.
I don't even think. I mean, like maybe average, sure, but like I don't think Ottinger's been playing nearly bad enough to like lose his job.
To Casey DeSmith of all
Yeah.
people.
Well, and I was saying yesterday, I don't envy this position because it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if they play Ottinger and he plays bad or even mid, as he kind of has been, then everyone's going to be asking why they didn't play DeSmith. But if you play DeSmith and he doesn't show up the way that he's showing up and posting 920s, 930s,
Yeah.
you're also going to look dumb as hell.
You are, yeah. It becomes so difficult because you want to ride the hot hand in the playoffs, right? You really do. But at the same time, you have so much more trust in a guy like Jake Ottinger being that guy than you do Casey DeSmith continuing to be that guy, especially when you watched Casey DeSmith's playoff performance last year where he was completely given the reins after Thatcher Demko went down and just fell flat on his face.
100%. So I totally get it. There's definitely a reason why you'd want to keep the momentum going, but the doubt, I just don't know if I can necessarily outweigh the doubt, especially with the experience Ottinger has.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at that goal saved above expected per 60 there. Jake Ottinger, I mean, he's not like
That's still like solid.
he's not in train wreck territory at
Yeah.
all, right? He's there with like Vejmelka, Sam Montembeault, Mackenzie Blackwood, goalies like that. Whereas Casey DeSmith is leading the league. Yeah, holy cow.
Yeah, he's just below the 50th percentile as far as like goalies are concerned, really.
Starters, yeah.
It's not terrible. It's just not super special.
Yeah, 100%. They are like
Neck and neck.
neck and neck in goal saved above expected. Interesting.
Yeah,
Intriguing.
it's quite the conversation, and I'm really excited to see how it pans out. I think I know how it's going to end up, but
I think it's going to end up with a Dallas Stars first round exit, honestly.
that's
Yep.
usually what goaltending questioning leads you to.
Especially a team that also doesn't have Miro Heiskanen and has been playing some questionable hockey.
And Jamie Benn's out too.
Yeah.
Got to factor that in. As much as Jamie Benn is Jamie Benn is also Jamie Benn.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
life, baby.
it's like Corey Perry. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you need
Yeah.
him, but also like when he's out there, you're like, do we need this guy?
Correct. The answer is probably not. No. Yeah. So I don't know. I had to get that little Casey DeSmith note in there. Very interesting because I put that note in and then he gets spanked by Sid the Kid. Fun times.
Yeah, I actually just kind of have a hard time taking teams that lose to the Penguins seriously too.
Yeah. It's very fair.
Like I don't know, the Stars. There's a bit of a stench there now.
I don't know. I'm never gonna hold a team to a loss that has a Sidney Crosby hat trick. That guy's just special, and sometimes you can't contain him.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
You know, like, what are you gonna do, really?
Like if you lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins, woof. If you lose to Sidney Crosby, that's gonna happen.
Exactly. It's like getting goalied when you have like, you know, a top tier goalie but
Yeah.
a terrible team. It's like, okay, whatever, you know.
100%.
You're not gonna win many games if you only score one, and unfortunately, that guy was a brick wall.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sidney Crosby, and welcome to the league, kid. We got some young guns at the end of the season starting to draw into the lineup as college comes to an end.
Mm-hmm.
WHL's in its playoffs. Teams that haven't made playoffs, you know, the juniors are looking for something to do. With that, we see Rutger McGroarty
Yeah.
drawing in
Yeah.
to the top line with Sidney Crosby on his 21st birthday.
Into the top line is crazy.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Isn't that special?
Yeah.
I believe his exact quote was, "I love my mom, I love my sister, I love my family, I love my girlfriend, but there's nothing they could ever give me that would be as special as this."
It's an insane quote, honestly. Why would you say
That it's crazy glazing, but you know what?
No, it's ethical glazing.
Why are you throwing your family under the bus for this quote?
I mean, fair though. Like that's a
Yeah.
once in a lifetime moment on your birthday to play next to Sid the Kid.
I mean, that's a nonce in a lifetime moment for almost everyone on Earth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Sid the Not So Kid.
For Sid the Not So Kid.
And on top of that, goal and assist for him.
Yeah. Special.
Ties the game
Ties the game.
against St. Louis. They went on to lose in overtime, but
Special.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it gives you chills. Like that's crazy. I know there's a lot of noise around McGroarty and, you know, the drama between Winnipeg and
Yep,
not wanting to
Yager.
play there, the Yager trade, but like I said a year earlier when this happened, or a couple months earlier, however long it's been, they're both still very good players,
Yeah.
and neither team's going to lose this deal.
No.
It's just going to be a straight across swap, and good for him.
I mean, we'll see as time goes on. There very well could be a winner and loser in that.
Maybe, but right now it's hard to really
Yeah.
judge it based on anything else other than because I know that Winnipeg fans wanted to go and hit the, you know, Jaeger's better. Doesn't matter.
Of course.
Nah, they're going to be the same. They're going to be equally as talented for quite some time. And
It's possible.
what a special moment.
Yeah, very special moment. And then Ryan Leonard as well.
What a splash he's made.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, he signs after his NCAA season ends.
Draws right into the top 6.
Draws right into the top 6. Goes for the huge open ice hit. Which he's had a couple since as well.
Yeah, he's throwing around weight.
Oh yeah.
And
Big
he's
time North-South player. Get some love from Ovi afterwards as well. Then in the game where Ovi ties the goal record, Ryan Leonard gets his first NHL goal as well. Yes, it's an empty netter, but you get your first NHL goal in the same game. You got Wayne Gretzky in the building. Special moment.
and Ovechkin with his, you know, after he ties the record, it's really quite special. And I was on team, like, I hate empty net goals for your first goal. Like, what a lame package. But it was a great move off the faceoff.
Yep.
Caught the defense on their heels, caught him lacking. Nice stick lift. Off to the races. I'm going places. Hold your goddamn purse, Demi Lovato, because this guy's going bank.
Yeah, 100%. And it says a lot that this guy in his second NHL game is getting put out late in a close game where the other team has their net empty.
And he was getting hate too because everyone was like, "Oh, you're going to take the goal from Ovechkin." Ovechkin didn't want the empty netter.
Nope.
It's fine.
Yep.
Honestly, you should be thanking Leonard for doing it so quickly
Yeah.
and hopping on that horse because it gave you another 2 minutes basically
Yeah.
of Ovi ripping piss missiles.
Yeah.
And he almost did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spencer Knight was fighting for his goddamn life in those last 2 minutes
You
just
know
to
what?
not be a victim of history twice in
Yes. You know what was driving me nuts? Not the empty net. Like when other people were shooting at the empty net, I didn't care. Ovi didn't want it. But when they were on that last power play, John Carlson took 2 shots. And both times I was like, don't shoot the puck.
What are you doing?
Give it to Ovi.
That could be you that passed it. Selfish.
Drove me crazy.
Selfish. Hate it. Yep.
No, shout out to Ryan Leonard as a Ryan Leonard fantasy owner. Very excited about that.
Absolutely awesome things happening in Capitals land.
Yeah.
I'm honestly really excited to see where they go from here. We were talking about it a little bit before the pod. As much as they have aging stars and people leaving, they have top tier talent coming in just as quickly.
They're stacked with it.
They
They're
have
stacked with it.
they have a lot of really, really good picks that
Yeah.
they've kind of acquired silently.
And you know what's crazy about them is you look at like McMichael and you look at Protus, you know, these guys that had such skating problems early on that somehow just got like fixed. It makes me so confident in their drafting that like or and their development that I'm like looking at, coming up into this draft, and there's quite a few skaters of that kind of stature in this draft where it's like a lot of good tools, can't really skate. And that just like doesn't worry me at all for the Capitals anymore.
No, it absolutely doesn't.
They just fix it. I don't know how.
They remind me of the Penguins in the 2010s where like they
Yes.
were just pulling up talent where you were like, okay, this guy can actually finish.
Yeah.
This guy can actually play. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was just a parade for like, what was it, 6 months of just new talent on Crosby's top line. And you're like, oh, that won't work. Oh, that won't
Yeah.
work.
I remember just being like, before we all knew his name properly, I'm like, Connor Sherry? Who is this?
Yeah. I mean, granted, he didn't stay around
Or was
nearly as
it-
long, but he's still around.
It is Sherry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we were saying
calling
Sheary.
Sheary. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And Gensel, we didn't know who the hell he was at first, but he
No.
was absolutely electric right next to him. Rust, another one you
Still
didn't really
electric.
see coming, still electric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know Washington. They got it going on. I want to loop back to this Rogers thing though.
Yes.
You said because of the news broke on April Fools, you thought it was a joke.
I did. I
Uh,
read that at about 10 a.m. on April 1st,
Yeah,
and I went, fuck you, I'm not falling for it. And then I woke up on April 2nd to another post.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess
I
this
guess
is real.
No, I'm very interested by it. I know Sportsnet sucks. Like I understand that. But I just think this deal's really interesting because we're in a new world, or at least a quickly changing world.
Yep.
Where these streaming services are just getting involved and clearly want to take the reins, right?
They are very thirsty for the traffic.
You look
And
at
it makes sense because
Of
you know what
course.
is the most clutch capitalization for those streaming services is the game ends, and then, like especially in the East,
Mhm.
it's like what 7
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do with the rest of your night? Oh, I
watch.
guess I'll just go from Amazon to Amazon. I
Yeah.
guess I'll just go from Netflix to Netflix.
And it keeps the recurring fee going, right? Where like you might get Netflix for 2 months to watch your favorite show and then finish it and cancel it.
Yep.
You're not canceling your subscription to watch your team over and over and over again because it's a new game.
Yeah,
It's a new season every season.
absolutely. You don't want to miss out, especially on the premier matchups.
Yeah. And so I mean you have Amazon really taking the reins, trying to get, Thursday night football, Monday night hockey, things like that. Who's the other big dog? I mean, Apple TV has the MLS now. And so I think, committing to Rogers and Sportsnet for 12 years is quite the move.
I think it's a dangerous move that's
Certainly.
short-sighted. I do think that while, yes, Rogers is the premier provider for Canada,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean they provide the premier service.
Sure.
And I think on top of that, giving them free reign for 12 years without like any sort of check in between or renegotiation makes me very, very nervous.
So now I totally understand that. The only thing that this does do is like, one of the biggest impacts on the salary cap is the TV deal uncertainty.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, if you are looking as I've been for some actual concrete reasons why these lofty numbers of the cap going up year over year might happen, so I've been getting a little worried about that. We talked about it on this show.
Absolutely. Revenue's an issue.
This is a very, very big indicator that is what's going to happen.
Yes. I 100% agree.
And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
that was a very good thing. And I think that's what got it done.
Yeah.
Because it would be a risk for you to give leverage to Amazon.
Yes.
And we've said it. Amazon clearly has balled out and invested in top tier equipment.
Yeah.
And top tier connections.
Yes.
Their streams are beautiful. They're miles ahead of Rogers.
Yeah.
And I've never had a stream fall behind or crash,
Yeah.
even when I leave the app and
Yeah.
go back in. Anytime I leave the Sportsnet app and then I go back
Oh.
to the Sportsnet app,
Ah,
it tells me there's an issue with my account and
Yeah.
drops the game. Like, what are we doing here? At first I was like, oh, my fault. Maybe it's my VPN. Maybe it rerouted me to like somewhere else in Canada. It needs to recertify me.
No.
I get it.
No.
No, I've turned off my VPN. Same issue. Garbage app.
I know, and hopefully we still get some Prime stuff here because I really do think that'll competition's good.
I'm
Right.
I'm 100% in the place where a free market's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have monopolies.
Exactly. Which is
So-
all we've had for way too long.
And that's why things haven't progressed enough. And that's
Yeah.
why I was kind of excited to see where things might go with all of these bigger companies with fatter pockets willing to spend, to the tune of the BBB billions.
Billions.
But I mean, if Rogers is willing to pony up the $8 billion
It's a ridiculous amount.
to fund the league growing exponentially in
Mhm.
its abilities,
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of can swallow that pill and deal with it. I just really, really hope that we see some sort of like tangible upgrade from Rogers in the
Yeah.
next few
I
years.
agree.
I can't deal with another 12 years of my stream crashing at $350 a year. That's garbage.
It is, yeah. It was acceptable in 2015 when this first started getting going. When the early DAZN days.
Yeah.
I totally got it. In 2025, it's just simply not acceptable.
You've had a decade to iron it out. You call yourselves the premier hockey provider. You always advertise about how this app is hey, are you tired of your streams crashing? Stop using a
yeah.
third-party site. Get it right from the source.
And my streams perform better than the legit Sportsnet ones half the time.
Right?
I
Like
say my streams. I'm not like hosting illegal streamings or anything like that.
no, but like, if you go on to like, tittyflapjack.host.net, you might find a better stream than if you go through Rogers,
Yeah.
which is so disappointing. Do you know how many times I had to try and reload the Edmonton game
Well-
yesterday? 4 times. I had to leave the host app 4 times and reload it.
And that's what they wonder why piracy's coming back, and that's exactly why.
And on top of that, you give me an app that constantly fails, and every time I leave the app in the middle of a key game situation,
Yes.
you give me a pop-up ad to access an app I've already paid for through the nose. I pay you
That's a
almost
lot.
$25 a month
Yeah.
to access the app and the content within it. Why in God's name am I looking at an MGM pop-up for
Yeah.
5 seconds or 10 seconds that I can't skip? And then by the time I've gone back to your bogus stream, let it buffer, reload, tell me it won't work, buffer, reload, I've missed the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
Thanks. Sick. Love it.
Yeah.
You know what else is infuriating? The fact that if I want to go and watch the highlight of that game-winning goal
Yeah.
that you just cost me from watching,
Yep.
I have to watch another ad.
Yes.
That's unskippable.
Yeah.
And 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
For a 15-second clip.
Yeah.
You've got to be shitting me. That's unbelievably disappointing and unacceptable. Holy goddamn shit. What do I pay you for? Why do I pay a premium subscription if you're going to just paywall me and drown me in ads? I'm
Yeah.
being waterboarded in ads by Rogers Sportsnet just to do my goddamn job here every week. It's so unbelievably frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, he's spitting.
God.
And it's funny because YouTube premiums less than Sportsnet, and that doesn't have ads to watch your highlights.
Right?
I know.
Right? That's
Yeah.
the thing.
I'm not trying to rile you up anymore. I
No,
promise.
I don't mind watching ads. I'm not I understand business. I've worked in an office. I get where revenue has to come from. But once you've already accrued that revenue from someone and they're paying you for a service, you make that service accessible so that they keep coming back.
Yeah.
if I'm not paying you, I don't mind watching a 15-second ad from a sponsor
Yeah.
to watch the highlight clips from tonight.
For sure.
That's fine.
Mhm.
You could do 2 back to back and
Mhm.
have one of them skippable at the end. I don't care. YouTube does that. It's fine.
Yes.
I
I'm not paying you. You got to make your money. I get it.
I don't pay for premium.
Yeah.
I don't complain every time an ad comes up
Of
every
course.
15 minutes. Like,
course.
whatever. It's better than cable still.
Yep.
But that's horseshit. That's
Yeah.
bull.
On a $350 a year service to be, getting unskippable ads is brutal.
For like a clip that's shorter than the ad too
Yeah.
is just asinine.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, yeah. Hey. I get you.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go into
Is it hot in here?
I bet.
This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going. But that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out and games left for you to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Moving into the wildcard update for this week, we've got the producer Big J. What you got for us, man?
Well, the race is kind of dying because
Tough
Montreal's kind of taking a bit of a steady lead here.
Mm-hmm.
4 points on the Rangers, equal games in hand. Rangers continue to look horrible.
Horrific.
I think we all saw that yesterday morning.
That
Yeah,
loss to the
getting,
Devils
Just getting killed by the Devils.
Yeah.
Tough scene.
made me happy.
And like the Red Wings, the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Fumble
Yeah.
City.
Just fumbling, just tripping on their own feet. So Montreal looking real comfy with a 4-point lead.
Mm.
And speaking of comfy, the Blues, I mean, they're not even a question. They're out of the
Yeah,
they're out of the race.
they're out of the race now.
You know who's not out of the race though? That's the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
Currently in action as we speak against Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they lose here, they're only 4 points ahead Calgary.
Wow.
Calgary will have 2 games in hand.
Wow.
It's getting murky and mini.
Murky and Mini. I like that.
I've been saying they were hiding behind Kaprizov for quite a while. Like,
I mean,
this team is
Kaprizov's played like what, 14 games this year?
Yeah, and that was my point. Is this team is good, but like we are still under the recency bias of them having an elite talent. If they don't have that elite talent, how much depth are you really looking at?
That's every team though. Like
Not
good,
really.
Good teams are good because they have elite talent.
Not really. I
That's
mean,
what
the
I
Devils
think, at
lost
least.
Jack Hughes, and they're still above 500. Like this team lost. Like,
I mean, the Wild and Devils aren't that different.
hey now.
They're really
Yeah.
not though.
Yeah, that's honestly.
Did you know?
I don't
did
feel
you
feels
know-
like a hate
I don't-
crime.
Did you know that they have the exact same amount of points in the exact same amount of games?
I believe that entirely.
Wow.
But the Devils got off to a terrible start. You have to remember they were They were in below the 50th percentile in all defensive metrics until Halloween.
And they had a
and-
Jack Hughes.
And now, coming into the playoffs, they are in the top 10 for defensive metrics and goaltending metrics
Yeah.
across the entire league.
Yeah, I don't know. I really just feel like saying like, well, this team's hiding behind its elite talent is like, no, good teams win because of their elite talent. That's it.
Good teams are good because of their elite talent, but if they don't have their elite talent, are they still going to stay afloat? And a lot of teams do. Minnesota has looked iffy at best
Yeah,
a lot of the
certainly.
time.
Certainly has.
It doesn't feel like a team that's gelling together around the
No,
absence as
no.
much as they're falling into it.
Right.
Which is like opposite the Devils right now, where you see Jack go down and we all hit the panic button and go, holy shit, the season's over. And now
Yeah.
some of these middle six players are playing like top six players because they appreciate that it's going to be a team effort.
Yeah.
Different mentalities, different mantras.
The Wild have games still against the Flames and the Canucks, correct?
Correct.
Hmm.
I'm looking at this schedule right now. Flames versus Wild this Friday.
Wow.
That'll be a good one.
And
That's-
amidst all that, the Flames this week, they play San Jose,
Whoa.
Anaheim,
Whoa.
Minnesota on Friday, and then San Jose again.
Wow. This, I mean, really, the wild card race in the East is kind of cooked. If you want to see something change this week, it's watching those Calgary Flames.
Dustin Wolf's been playing absolutely amazing too.
Yeah, he's back.
He's very back.
Yeah.
Nazem Kadri's been playing insane. He's maybe
Right.
fizzled out a little bit in the last 2 games, but I don't expect that to like continue on. I think he's going to keep on his horse.
Yeah. Also, for the record, the Devils beat the Rangers yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
I will give no props.
That's fair.
I don't know.
It still feels good to watch the blue shirts walk out of the building,
Yeah.
go home, take your dirty little train back to New York.
I was going over this with Jay yesterday, like, you know, not to like really not to blame everything on JT Miller here at all, but just like what I noticed was, you know, the back end of JT Miller's tenure in Vancouver, the last couple weeks or month or so. I was watching Canucks games and you're going like, is there a single person on the ice that cares about this game for Vancouver besides Quinn Hughes?
It was tough scenes. It's hard to watch.
And that's how I felt watching the Rangers yesterday, going, is there a single person on the ice who cares about winning this game besides Igor Shesterkin?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Miller's such a culture catalyst in the sense that he's either going to completely put a rocket on your back or be the fucking boot on your car.
Like, yeah, the boot on your car, yeah. For real. I like, I'm not trying to blame it all on him, but like, I felt like I was watching a November Canucks game when I watched that game yesterday. I was like, this team is in the mix. They were, what'd you say, Jay, 4 points back?
I mean, they were 2 points back.
They
the
were
time
2
that
points
game was
back?
played.
And they put in that effort yesterday? Are you joking?
It's tough. And they left Shiesty way out to dry.
Rangers are cooked, and they
Big time.
deserve to be cooked.
Feels good.
Yeah,
Feels so
I
good.
bet it does. Yeah. I
Speaking
bet it
of
does.
games to watch,
Yeah.
I know it's not necessarily a wild card thing, but we absolutely have to highlight the Washington Carolina game that is going to be taking place. Chatfield slewfoots McMichael during a fight. No
Yeah.
supplemental discipline from the league. They meet again next Thursday. That
Mhm.
is a must-watch revenge game.
Mhm.
This is probably going to be a playoff matchup. Eventually, it's going to shake out that way. You would have to imagine if both teams play to their potential.
Possibly, yes.
They need to send a message.
Yeah.
They need to be going after this guy and making that game a nightmare for him. I can't believe the league didn't have any discipline. Not
Yeah.
even a 5K fine.
Not even a fine. Yeah.
Like, it's a UFC takedown move, a complete slew foot in a hockey fight on a vulnerable player without a helmet.
Yeah.
In the era of CTE and brain injury awareness.
Yep.
That could have been so bad, you could have killed the guy. You genuinely could have killed the guy.
Yeah.
I've seen people die in bar fights for worse.
Yeah,
Or
for
for
sure.
less.
For
Sorry.
sure.
Like, if he falls on the back of his head wrong, that's your life. That's your
100%.
career. That's his life. It's all over.
Yeah,
there
no,
needs
no
to be-
discipline was crazy.
Yeah, there needs to be more firm follow-up from the league on stuff like this.
Yeah.
And since there wasn't, I'm expecting the Caps to be taking it into their own hands.
I buy it 100%. That's why you have to have supplemental discipline. It's not just to punish the player; it's to make sure that it's kind of done with.
Yeah,
right.
Because these teams are going to see each other again.
Yeah, they don't forget. People don't forget.
No, even if it's a West Coast team and you only see them once or twice a year.
Yeah.
Like
they remember that.
Yeah, they're going to be scheduling that into what they do.
Well, and I mean, same thing with Jason Dickinson. Dangerous hit on Philip Hedl. Gave him another concussion. He's done for the season, and honestly, I hate to say it, but it could be his career. No supplemental discipline from the league. And Kiefer Sherwood, when they asked him about it the next day, he goes, "Yeah, we don't see him till mid next year, but we'll be waiting."
Yeah, and I believe it, and that's
100%.
That was exactly what I was thinking of when I was referencing that. Is
Yeah.
like that is going to be the exact mentality of the Caps.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It has to be. Yeah.
Especially with a guy that is that essential to A, your playoff run, and B, your future.
Yeah. Lots of other big games this week. We've had Habs versus the Red Wings on Tuesday. 2-point lead for Montreal on the wildcard 2 spot. Oh, is that 4? 4-point lead now. Yep, correct. Another big Leafs and Panthers games. Toronto has the current 4-point lead for the top Atlantic spot. Big game there.
How are we feeling about the Leafs? Because I know you saw that game on Wednesday.
I did.
Against the Panthers.
Against the Panthers, yep.
How are we feeling?
I don't know. I'm not super sold on them, but I just there's such a stench around the Leafs. You're talking about the Dallas stench.
Yeah.
Toronto's is so hard for me to get over my biases around how badly that team collapses every year. That I'm looking at them and I don't mind the way that they're playing, but I'm ready to put money on DraftKings on the Senators beating them in the first round.
I just think that the Leafs have such a problem. They have a Hockey Canada problem. They have a big braining themselves out of a good thing problem.
Yeah.
Nick Robertson has had three games this year with multi-point appearances.
Sure.
How the hell is this guy still drawing into the AHL?
Yeah.
Give him the keys. Insert him into the lineup.
Yeah.
I can't believe it took you this long to put Ryan Reeves in the AHL. That's crazy. This guy's been begging, scratching, clawing, and not even that, earning a place in your lineup.
Yeah.
And you still go, nah, the cap is what the cap is. We have to do this and play this way to circumvent everything. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You don't need a million tools if you have the tool.
Yeah.
Use him.
I agree.
I think if the Leafs can actually get over themselves and insert him into the lineup, I think he makes a huge difference.
Maybe. I'm not a big Nick Robertson guy, honestly. He doesn't impress me all that much.
Those type of guys in the playoffs, they are the make or break. It's the sneaky additions. It's the supplemental scoring down and through the lineup. You don't win the playoffs by having one guy go absolutely banana sandwich.
I disagree.
You win the playoffs by having 9 guys going pretty decently above average and then one guy going banana sandwich.
I disagree. I know this is the same thing as the Kaprizov thing we were just talking about. I just don't buy it. Like I think that mentality is so 2010. Like, no. You know who wins the Stanley Cup in Game 7 for the Florida Panthers? Sam Reinhart, the 50-goal scorer.
Okay, yeah, but he wasn't a 50-goal scorer until like 2 years ago, and before
But
that, he was the supplemental middle 6 forward.
No.
Yes.
He's elite right now.
He is elite right now.
And that's why they won the Cup.
But when they acquired him, he was solid middle 6 depth.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. When you, the thing that makes Cups is when your solid middle 6 depth that you've acquired steps into a real role.
No, but that's not stepping into a real role. That's becoming an elite contributor.
But those guys don't do that unless you actually have them playing meaningful games. The fact that Robertson hasn't even been able to draw into a full season is goddamn damning. That's the type of a guy you need to start stepping into a bigger role like a Reinhart.
I don't disagree with the concept that Nick Robertson, you should let him do stuff like that. I just completely disagree with the notion that you win because you have middle 6 guys contributing. I just don't buy it. You win because your top line scores, because you have Connor McDavid on one side and Sasha Barkov on the other side, or you have Jack Eichel on your side, or you have Nathan McKinnon on your side. That's why you win a Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not debating that you don't need like top tier guys. As soon as Jack Hughes went down for the Devils, I was like, oh, that's probably it. It's over, even though you still have a Timo Meier and a Nico Hischier and at that point a Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah.
And, XYZ. It's like, yeah, there's not enough middle scoring to save you from that type of a goal gap.
Yeah.
But it sure does bloody well help keep the wheels on.
No, I agree with that. I just I know I've been like there's trauma here, okay? I'm biased because I picked Dallas so hard over and over last year. Because they had far and away the deepest forward group in the entire league. And I looked at that and I thought the same thing. I thought year over year over year over year, oh, that third line's going to be the difference maker. And then they got walked by the so deeply flawed Edmonton Oilers. And that's when I was like, it's a new league.
Yeah, I think that finding the special players is still super essential. And most of that comes from the intention of adding middle six and finding more.
Sure.
It just happens. Like, how many times have we seen a team go out and get someone for their second or third line? You're like, yeah, they'll probably help. And then they become a key piece of that team for the next 4 years.
Like, not all that often, though.
Thomas Hertl.
Like, Thomas Hertl was, like, the number one target for, like, years.
Okay, it was Slaflowski.
Slavkovsky's, well, I mean, he's, like, 20 years old.
Okay, yeah, but, like,
I'll give you, like,
mentality.
Sam Reinhart. I'll give you, like, JT Miller.
He seems more like a top end player, but still, yeah, fair.
But he wasn't really when he got traded to Vancouver.
Valid.
Like he was getting discarded by the Lightning at that time.
Yes.
But like those are the two biggest ones I can like think of, really. Like there's not very many players like Sam Reinhart out there that have been acquired for cheap as reclamation projects that turn into 50 goal scorers.
No, but I'm not saying they have to be a 50 goal scorer either. They just have to be like a tangible scorer. They have to put up 25 to 30, which is still.
But that's where like I disagree. Like I don't think 25 goal scorers win you the cup.
I mean, I guess that's just an ideological indifference. But I mean, like I just think that like you have to have like a solid top 3 or 4 elite players, and then you still just can't have holes. I'm like my ideological concept on this is that the league is too good and every team has at least 3 game X factor chips, like game breaking chips. You need to have people that can hold up to that when the mismatch happens or when you ice the puck.
I know.
Like,
but Edmonton made the finals.
But they have the fastest, most elite, most game-breaking player, and that they lost the finals because they didn't have enough of anything.
They lost because they lost to Sasha Barkov.
I mean, I guess
because they faced the only player on planet Earth who can stop him, Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
that's why they lost, not because of their depth.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah,
I know. We're gonna just like it is an ideological difference. So like we just run in circles on this for hours.
We could spin the tires because I could find like 5 teams in the last 10 years that also just have incredibly deep like middle 6 lines where you're like, well, what about the Blues in 2019, or what about like the what about
the Blues are the only one.
What about the
That's
Capitals?
The only one.
What about the Capitals?
What?
Yeah,
they have Alexander. Are we not talking about Alex Ovechkin right now?
Yeah, he's their top guy. But then, like, what else did they have
under him? The greatest goal scorer of all time?
What else did they have under him at that time?
I mean, Nicholas Backstrom.
Yeah.
John Carlson.
Yeah.
Braden Holtby.
There's your 3 to 4. Who else did they have under them?
TJ Oshie.
There you go.
Okay.
Solid middle 6. Solid top middle 6.
Cool.
Dependable. Reliable. Scorers that show up.
But then I could bounce back with the 2017 Penguins. Look at that decor. Uh-oh.
Jay catching
my guy
strays.
Ron Hainsey. Hey, no stray. I love him, guys. Yo.
Ron Hainsey.
My
Ron
guy.
Hainsey.
Justin Schultz. My guy. Oli Mata. He's aight.
He's aight.
Not even Letang wasn't even healthy that year.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about this whole conversation is it would not have happened if I didn't ask how y'all feel about the Leafs. This whole argument could have been avoided.
Jay, how do you feel about the Leafs?
I am thinking that they are gonna beat the Senators. Actually,
Really? You liked what you saw?
I haven't really loved what I've seen from the Senators lately.
Yeah.
I think they've actually kind of been Linus Ullmark merchants.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
I mean, Brady's been out.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
He'll be back soon.
But I mean, big week for the Leafs. Like we mentioned, they got a game against the Panthers again this
Mhm.
Tuesday. The very next day, they got the Lightning.
Cool.
So that'll be something to watch.
And then Saturday they got the Habs on Hockey Night in Canada.
First Leafs Habs game that like is actually serious in a long time.
Factual.
What a scene.
And in April.
Yeah.
Does that not just feel like
Oh,
nostalgia city?
that feels good.
Doesn't it?
I'm excited for that.
Circling it on my calendar, not doing anything.
I'll be working, unfortunately.
I'll be texting you updates.
We got a lot of Leafs fans in the bar. We'll have it on the big screen.
I was gonna say, honestly, working at a bar during like Leafs Habs Saturday
Yeah.
in April, that doesn't even sound like that. That sounds like a great environment.
I've
Even though
set my stakes with the Leafs fans at the bar. I've told them all that I think the Ottawa Senators are going to win.
Bold.
Mm-hmm.
That's bold. You're gonna have a long shift if it doesn't happen.
I just, you know what, we get a lot of Canucks fans, we get a lot of Leafs fans, and we get a lot of Oilers fans, and I love to make them all mad, right? Canucks fans, I rile them all up by saying JT Miller's a bum.
Valid.
Oilers fans, I rile them all up by saying they're going to lose to the Kings in the first round.
Valid.
Leafs fans, I rile them all up by saying that they're going to lose to the Senators in the first round, and I kind of believe all three of them too.
That's funny as hell. That's so goddamn funny. Just poking the buttons.
Yeah, it's going to be such a good week. I'm very much looking forward to it. Let's do a couple shout outs and then wrap this up, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had we're shouting out a couple of our subscribers and followers every single week now. So I picked out from our YouTube subscribers Ginger Breadley, Breadley. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. YouTube subscriber, drop some comments. Shout out to you, man. We appreciate you listening.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. And we're doing a second name. Normally it'll just be one name a week, but we forgot to do one last week because we were so fired up about just praising Ovi and glazing the hell out of him. So we're going to do a little shout out on our Instagram side as well. Shout out the guy, Pablo Brennan. Lots of interaction on the Instagram side. And, we really appreciate that. We appreciate your opinions and comments. And, thank you everyone for tuning in. If you want to be mentioned in our shoutouts, then be sure to follow on the Instagram, the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell. It should be somewhere up there depending on where I am on your screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky as well. We're on pretty much everything. Hit us up. TikTok.
Yep.
Yeah, the Stick Talk on the TikTok.
That's
Feel
right.
free to hit us up there. We got some good shorts coming out at least 2 to 3 times a week at minimum.
Yep.
So,
and check out the website too, sticktalkhockey.square.site. We got merch on there. If you're feeling a little extra Gretzky after this week, as a lot of us are, we got a Gretzky tee up on there, along with some other Canadian Pride stuff and some other just sick merch.
yeah, there's a really nice duffel bag on there I've been meaning to pick up. I'm actually geeked on that one.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you can always pick up a set Stick Talk mug. I don't have it here today because I brought my coffee from home, but they're gorgeous cups.
Yeah, I mean, if you drink your coffee while listening to this show, have it with us.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Have a coffee with us and let's talk some puck. I'm so here for that.
That's right. As always, I'm your host, Tico, and this is my co-host.
I'm yours, Trilly.
And over there, we got our producer.
Producer Jay.
Keep your dang head up, y'all.
Keep your dang head up.
Oh.
Boom.
Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick